Hi coders, I am Shraddha.
Today I studied time and space complexity, and I want to explain it in simplest way possible. So before understanding what is time complexity is, let's first understand why we even need it. Thousands of years ago, humans used to walk, and walking was working. If the distance was 1 kilometer, it was completely fine. But what if distance was 100 kilometers or 1000 kilometers? Walking was still working, but it became very slow and difficult. So what happened? We invented a cycle. Cycle was faster than walking. Then came motorcycle, then cars, aeroplanes, rockets. Why did this evolution happen? Not because walking was strong, but because as the distance increased, the time taken to travel also increased, and we needed something more efficient. This is exactly the idea behind time complexity. So let's dive into what is time complexity. Time complexity tells us how the time grows as input grows or input increases. How the time taken by a program grows as the input grows. So in programming, the input can be number of elements in the array, the number of users, size of data. So here, suppose for example, for 1 kilometer, it was taking 100 minutes. Then for 2 kilometer, it was taking 200 minutes. Means for distance, the time is, if the distance is double, then the time is getting double. Means 2x of the distance. If input doubles, does the time double? Does it increases 4 times? Does it grows very slowly? And that growth pattern is called as time complexity. Now, how to represent? So just like we measure a weight in kilograms and measure the liquid in liters, so we measure the algorithm growth using something called as a big O notation. And big O describes how the time grows in worst case when the input becomes very large. So now let's understand why to consider only the worst case. Imagine you build an application and the application is getting used by 10 users, so it is working fine. Is it the concern when it is used by 10 users how it will behave, or is it the concern when it will be used by 10 million users how it will be? So if your app works fine for 10 users but crashes for 10 million users, then it is not reliable. So we always analyze the worst case performance. Now let me quickly explain all the time complexities in ascending order. So from the fastest to the slowest, the best one is big O(n), which is called as constant time, and then we have big O log n, then comes big O(n), after that big O n log n, then comes big O n square and n cube, and the worst ones are big O 2 raised to n and big O n factorial. So as input grows, only the efficient algorithm survives. That's why understanding the time complexity is very important in programming. And space complexity. So space complexity tells us how the memory usage grows as input grows. So walking needs no extra tools. That's the constant space big O n. But airplane needs airport fuels, crew, more resources. So
See you in next video. Follow for more.